Well, that's 2 down. Now we'll go to our flag hive. This is another one that does not have a queen excluder, so I would not be expecting to take any honey out of this one anyway, but we'll just peek and see how the hive is doing. Again, the queen could be anywhere on this one, so I'm going to be really cautious, making sure I don't lose her while I'm checking for bees. I will say these bees seem to be a little more ornery. There's a lot more of them buzzing around my head, basically not very happy that I'm there, but the hive itself sounds pretty calm, so good job, girls. It's a heavy frame. Holy cow. I like how that's going. That frame seems like it's stuck in there. Yeah. They might have had that like built to the side of the box, and then when I was pulling it out, I was really disrupting it. Might have crushed a few bees trying to get that out. I'm going to try to come into the other side, see if I have any more luck. Yeah, these bees are not happy that I'm messing with them right now. So this was a new frame, still building out comb, a little bit of honey on that side. I don't know if you can tell, but these ones are swarming around my head a little bit more. Oh, this is a heavy frame. Wow. This frame is nearly 100%. There must have been a little bit more room between this frame and the next one because they really built the honey out thick. You can see kind of how it sticks way out beyond the frame. So it's even a little heavier. Also, that's what makes it hard to get these frames out. This was another new frame, so again, they're still building out comb, but actually have some capped honey on it already. All honey, maybe like 85% on one side, maybe 70% on that side. Boy, that one's probably like 95% honey on both sides. This is another heavy frame. That's all capped honey. Both sides. Nearly 95%. This one I could probably harvest. Boy, I tell you, this hive looks like it's doing very well. This is another almost all cap, but I dripped some honey, and you can see these two bees here already just trying to drink from that drop of honey that got spilt. Recycle that food. This frame also feels like it's going to be heavy. Oh, and it is. Wow. Yeah, that is 100% on both sides. This one, they still have room to build out some comb, but the comb that's there is capped with honey. Same thing on this side. So this wouldn't really be ready to harvest. This was that first frame that I couldn't get out at first. I think it's because the bees might have built the comb all the way to the edge of the box. Yeah, and this one is like, it's 100% on one side, and then on the other side, mostly open comb. Making sure I don't see a queen. So you can see that's all capped honey. But on the other side, lots of open space. So we're going to put this frame back, this box back together. Careful not to crush anybody when we're putting that back together. So I'll tell you, my concern for that hive is that that top box is almost so full that the hive itself can become honey locked, meaning if there's no room for them to continue to grow, then that might cause them to swarm. Now, I didn't check the deeper boxes because this was only going to be a honey check, but typically the bees will fill from the bottom up. So I'm assuming that if my top frames are full, that the bottom ones are too. So then we just have this last hive to check. And this is one that had a honey super on it as well. So we'll see what this looks like. So obviously you always want to be careful, but since this one does have a queen excluder, it's much less likely that I'm going to find a queen in this top box. Now, interestingly, this was a hive that I actually got by catching a swarm. Not so much that I caught it, is that they just sort of moved in on their own. So the queen for this hive is not marked. But let's just see what's going on in this box. I can tell right away that this frame feels very light. So I'm guessing there's not going to be too much of anything on this. Yeah, there's a lot of bees walking around, but it's basically all uncapped comb, and I don't see anything. There's no larva, there's no nectar, there's no pollen, no honey. So I'm pretty sure this hive is not going to have anything for us to take. That's the same thing. It's a very light frame, all built up comb, but with nothing on it. So this hive still has a lot of room to grow. Again, same thing. Lots of bees crawling around, but it's all completely empty comb. So of all the hives, this one is probably looking the weakest right now. What I may want to do is take some of the full honey frames from one of these hives and exchange it for these that are completely empty, just to give these bees a little bit more food. And it's okay to do that. Bees don't care if the frame of honey came from them or from a different hive. Yeah, that's the same thing. So this entire top box is basically empty frames. So it's pretty clear to me I'm not going to get any honey out of this one. Probably what I should do is just take the queen excluder out, since I know there's not going to be any honey harvest coming from this one. And maybe even take a few of those fuller frames of honey from one of the other hives and give it to this one, putting the empty frames in the other hives, giving those bees more room. I'm guessing that's the right answer, but I'm gonna consult with some of my more experienced beekeeping friends. I do that shake just to kind of clear off as many of the bees as I can so that I don't crush anybody when I'm putting the top back on. So that's pretty much it. A couple frames that I probably could take some honey from, but this hive in particular seems to be the weakest of the four, with basically a completely empty top super. So probably what I should do instead is take some of the full honey frames from mine that are more full and exchange them, give them, these bees, that honey, put the empty frames in the ones that are doing better, just to give them more room to grow and produce. And I'm guessing that's going to be the answer, but looks like it's going to be another year probably with no honey, which is not surprising because all four of these hives were new hives this year, since none of my hives from last year made it through. It is interesting that this hive right here was actually a swarm that moved in, so I might have thought that they would be doing the best out of the 3 versus the other 3 that I started as fresh nucleus colonies. But it is what it is, I guess, as they say. So that's what's going on with beekeeping in Asheville right now. And thanks for joining if you did. See you soon. Bye.